All right, and just smooth it out a little bit. At that point, doesn't have to look pretty yet. At that point, I'm going to fill it with my filling here. And that's 2 cups of your filling. You can always serve some on the side. Like our family, we will, even if we stuff something, we always have extra stuffing on the side. So, all right, and then I'm going to press it down here. Let you guys see what I've done. So, all right. And then now I'm going to fill it in with what remains. Or, you know, just kind of pile it there on top. The sweet potatoes, can you check them? We'll just make sure they're done. I'm sorry, what was your question?
I was trying to figure out what it was again, but it's a stuffed roast one.
Yes, yes, and it's gluten-free. So this one's gluten-free, and then I'll do the gluten one.
Will you be sending out the recipe for the veggie broth that you make?
I can. Like I said, that's the only thing I don't have on there already. Believe it or not, I don't ever cook with recipes. Ever. I do it only for my class. And if Rick really likes something, because he knows sometimes I'm inconsistent with the way he likes it, he'll be like, please write it down. I want it this way. So that's the only times I write it down. And then I usually know it so much by heart from doing it that... Yeah, me too. In the Caribbean, there was no such thing as recipes. It was like dump, dump, dump. Oh, I'll follow one if I've never heard of that recipe before. But I can't promise you I'll do it that way again. Because I'll usually say, oh, I didn't too much salt. Or too much sugar. Or too much of something. Or I want more of this flavor. So this is what I end up with. I would roast this for at 375 for 30 minutes. After I take it out for 30 minutes, I only let it sit for 5 minutes. Then I take a spatula. I won't be demonstrating that because I've already taken the other one out. But I'll take a spatula, go around the edges, put a sheet pan, or in the case, I think I didn't have a sheet pan this evening, I flipped it over and then I baste it in the oven at 375 for 20 more minutes. Just with, I actually have a different base that I put in the recipe, and I liked that better. But because I was running out of time tonight, I simply basted with a little bit of olive oil and Bragg's aminos. So that's all I basted with tonight, the one that you're sampling. But I will probably do this the correct way, which is with some cashew butter, some flax seeds, I think aminos. I'll baste it with that for the same amount of time.
Is that just to give it a pretty color?
It gives it a nice color. When it comes out, you'll have patches that are lightly brown, and it's very patchy. So I find that helps it a little bit, kind of looks a little better. Do we have one ready? So that one ready, I'll just show them. And the beautiful thing about this, I would say too, is last year, I think I ended up making 3 for that cooking class. We had 2 in the freezer for a couple of weeks. We ate it in January. It was perfect. So when you are going to go to the trouble to make some of these dishes, make multiple. You know, make multiple, and then you have something when guests come along, it's like, oh, just chuck this in the oven. You know?
So you said 30 minutes initially, and then
Yeah, 30 minutes at 375, and that's on the recipe. I actually put that on the recipe.
But then when you said you kind of
Right,
the
so,
spatula to get it away from the walls, right?
yes, so after 5 minutes, I let it
Take
set
the whole thing
outside.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
but make sure you have something really flat to flip it over in, and then you're gonna baste it like he did. He did that one for me.
so you're doing it without you don't cover it. It's open.
Yeah, you don't cover it with when it's basting. You just leave it out in the open on top of your sheet pan, and then you serve it.
So you don't put it back in the oven?
I do. I'm putting it back for 20 minutes at 375, but it's out and it's not covered. If that's what
Is it covered?
I never ever cover it.
Oh, so it keeps its form. I'm just amazed at it
Yeah,
in 30 minutes.
that's a different one that you're looking at over there, though. All right, so I am going to need the Vitamix. The Vitamix.
Would you need this back?
No, I'm done.
Wait 5 minutes, baste it, and then put it back.
All right, so we're gonna move back here to because our vegetables look done enough for me. So we're gonna move back to our breadcrumbs. Now these ones are the gluten ones. This is Dave's Killer Bread, and this is, yes, so she cut them for me last night and we lightly toasted them. That oven doesn't go as hot as mine at home, but normally at home, because I will forget, I put the timer on and I put it on 225 and I'll leave it in there for an hour, forget it, and it'll be fine. It's not going to burn. But this one, it's a little tricky and it doesn't get as hot. So I put it at 350 and I think we went 20 minutes. But what I did is after 20 minutes, I'll like fluff it up with a fork or something, turn it over a little bit, and then I went another 10 minutes just for it to dry out. And
So can you put the bread in the processor too and have it shredded?
smaller? Yeah, absolutely. But in this case, Dave's Killer Bread is a very moist bread. So to me, I would cut it first. If you tried to do it before cutting it, that will be disastrous.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Baked it hard enough
Okay.
and it's dried enough, would you be able to make breadcrumbs from it then?
I do breadcrumbs from this all the time. I also make breadcrumbs from the other one that I showed. Because when I'm doing a lot for the cooking class, I want everybody to be able to eat it. I will use that bread. Yeah. All right, so I'm just adding these here. All right, and I just keep stirring until it's to the moistness that I want. That's why I told you I only started with 2.5 cups of the liquid. You can always add more, you know. I like mine to actually have a little bit of the form, but not too dry. So at this point, I think it's going to be too dry. So that's when I would start adding my liquid to my own taste. And this is fine, like I said, as a standalone to eat by itself or to eat on the side of your dish.
So why don't you shake up everything in the bottom?
I should have. That's like my onion powder, garlic powder, yeast flakes there.
I know, right?
All right. And truly at this point, that is good enough for me. It is going to soak up a little bit more, and there's a little bit more in the bottom. But that is all fine and good for my family. So that's where we would stop with that one. And I want to take this out, and we will start our next item. It's not hot.
Cooler in there?
I could use it cooler. All right, so the next one is actually my gluten loaf. Have that ready for him to take out for me. Sorry, get this out of my way. All right, so moving on here to this is my gluten loaf. And you guys are familiar with, it's been around for years, Tofurkey. That's also an Oregon brand. So this one's gonna be somewhat like that. The more you knead it, the more it'll have their texture. So I like mine a little softer, so I knead for less. I did put in the more, which is 10 minutes, but I usually don't knead for anything more than 5 minutes because I like mine a little softer. All right. We're gonna start here with some broth. Start with your liquids. And this actually is the Walmart organic broth. These are some homemade chickpeas. Anybody remember some facts about my favorite legume? No?
Nutritious.
Very nutritious, yeah. It's almost a complete protein. It's only missing the amino acid methionine. So if you pair it with a grain that is high in methionine, such as quinoa, you have a complete protein.
Versatile.
Very versatile. It has satiating factors, so it keeps you full longer. And it is very high in fiber and in protein. Okay. So this is my yeast flakes here. That's a 1/4 cup of yeast flakes. And I'm going to put in my aminos. And I actually put a little olive oil in this one. The one I made last year, I just put more broth. So you can omit this and just put more broth. It came out perfect. Other than I almost burnt the house down. I thought I had turned it off. You know, you steam it. You have to steam gluten. And I thought I turned it off. I accidentally turned it down to the low setting. And so about 2.5 hours later, the house was full with a strange smoke. And, well, my husband wasn't here. He was with a patient in Atlanta. So that was very interesting. What I just put in there was that 3-part blend. I was out of celery seed, or I probably would have put a pinch of that. Like I said, it gives a really nice flavor. This is onion and garlic powder. You all know that my favorite brand is Badia, which we get, I think it's out of Florida, but it is something that I used to find at home all the time, and I like the quality. So just blend until smooth, and then you are going to pour this in a bowl. Let's see if I can get all the stuff out of here.
Do you use dried parsley and stuff?
I do. I do. It's not my favorite, but I do like to see the flecks when it's been freeze dried. So, and of course, parsley is really good for you. Parsley is excellent for the urinary tract system, specifically the kidneys. All right, once I have it looking like that, then I go ahead and I dump my Vital Wheat gluten in there. I will tell you this, don't ever try to use Vital Wheat gluten in stainless steel. Always go for a glass bowl. You'll find you can clean it out better. It becomes rubbery. And sometimes it's difficult to remove, but I find glass bowls, it's really good.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know. And it worse if you like hit it with water before you really want to. You can have some issues. So I'm going to add a glove here again because I'm going to work it with my hands. I move this over a little bit so that you can see what I'm doing, but I think everybody knows how to knead. See, I did learn my lesson and put hot pads under there. All right. And some people actually like kneading. I do not. And people say they get their frustrations out. And it makes a really nice soft dough. I don't know if you can smell, but I can smell like this rubbed sage. You know, it smells really good. And you just continue to knead this for about 5 minutes. If you want it soft. If you want it hard, you're gonna go that full 10. Yeah, because the gluten develops as you rub it. Okay, I don't want to keep you guys forever, so we're going to form it into a ball here and move on to the next step.
Could you use that in like my KitchenAid with the dough hook on it?
I believe you might with this one it's a soft dough. Sometimes it's pretty hard, so kind of check out the dough first.
There's the different hooks, I don't know which one I would.
Probably the dough hook, the one that looks like a question mark, I would say, would be the better one.
That's a little.
But then that's stainless steel.
No, that'll be fine. It's the bowl that I'm concerned about more. Yeah. So I actually have like 5 different sizes of steamer inserts. This one I do not like as well. I actually like the one that it only fits halfway, but I could not find it, so I will be using this one tonight. I fill the bottom of my pot with about 4 to 5 cups of broth, either homemade or, you know, that one. And then I get this to a boil. Once it turns to a boil, you're going to put it to medium or medium-low because you just want it to simmer. I would lightly oil this just so it doesn't stick. And then shape this into a ball. Either a complete ball or in this, the case of the one that I did, I kind of made it an oblong shape. Thank you.
So with the other loaf, did you turn that into a not gluten-free loaf as well? I thought.
This one?
No, the other one.
The other one is a gluten-free loaf.
Right, but can it turn into a not gluten-free?
I guess you could put flour.
Depends on the. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess in place of the chickpea flour, you could probably put this. Exactly. Yes, I'm done. Yay. All right, and then we would steam this for an hour. After an hour, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take it out, put it, this one I think is at 400, and you're going to baste it with a little olive oil with a little bit of Bragg's aminos. You're going to, because it's at a higher heat, you're going to go for 20 to 25 minutes, but every 5 minutes you'll baste it because it's going at 400. So you don't want it to dry out, right? So Rick did that for me this evening, so that one was really nicely basted. And I just want to show you how that looks.
Can you get one?
Yes, I will. I can get it. So that's how it turned out.
Oh, wow.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
All right.
Looks perfect.
Okay. And you can really give it whatever shape you want. All right. So the last one that we're going to do is, I guess I can do it in here because it's just us eating this one. Don't worry. So you had some of those little chips. What did you think of them?
They were good.
All right. So when you're preparing for this, I find that I get so many ends. So I wash all of them to start with, which I washed these last night, me and Sister Marie. And then I just remove probably the top 4 to 6 layers, depending on how loose they were. And then I ended up with a bunch like this. Then my daughter put a little bit of organic agave syrup, and a pinch or so of salt, and then we put them in our dehydrator, and then we have chips. So instead of losing these, now the parts that I've cut, these can go into your stock pot, and then you can make a big batch of vegetable broth. I freeze mine. I do canning as well, but we didn't get our canning equipment until late in the summer, so I didn't do any canning this year. If I had Yemi's garden, I would have canned everything. But God did not so bless me this year.
The hydration, how long?
Well, we have a living setting, and so I usually put it on the living setting overnight, so about 10 to 12 hours. Today, because she'll tell you, I stacked the thing last night, or had Alicia stack it, I forgot to run it. So this morning I came in and I was like, uh-oh. So I had to put it on a higher setting to make sure. So it was like more like 8 hours on the vegetable setting. Yeah. So this is what I was aiming for. And so we will definitely use those for that. But I think everybody should know how to clean these. And then just divide them in 2. If you're looking, I don't know if anybody else likes Brussels sprouts. I love them. And I went yesterday, and I should have remembered, but you know, the place that you find the best looking ones is Aldi's. And they're really inexpensive. They were like $2.69, so I bought 4 bags.
Where?
Aldi's. Yeah. I went to Walmart at first, and I was like, oh my goodness. They looked like they were there 2 years.
Yeah, they didn't look good.
So I was like, okay, we're not getting those.
Bought some really good frozen ones from Schwab, which is now yellow, the baby, They are really good.
Good. I like the frozen ones as well, and I'm sure that they still have some potency. I would say in this dish, you don't want to have too many big ones and then some little tiny ones. For the most part, they're medium, so it wasn't too bad. But I'm going to dump that there. The next item is some red bell pepper. Red bell pepper has, pound for pound, the highest vitamin C in pretty much any of nature. And so you can tell this is just a healthful dish just by the colors. But again, I like the colors for the holidays, the green, the red. And I put a lot of garlic in here. This is 10 cloves that I sliced there. I didn't put so much in the ones that we have you sample, but in this we're also going to put, I actually like to mix this separately first. So that's aminos. This is maple syrup, 3 tablespoons of each. I usually put, instead of fresh onion, I really, with this dish, love dried onion. I get it from Badia, the same company that I use for the onion and garlic. For the onion and garlic seasoning, but they have dried onion. It tastes awesome on this, but I forgot it at home, so we didn't feel like going back for it. I'll probably add it.
Name of this dish,
This one? This is Brussels sprouts, roasted Brussels sprouts with red bell pepper and roasted red bell pepper and pecans.
Have you tried buying Badia at Publix here?
You know, I get Badia from Walmart. Has a small selection, but if you want a huge selection, you will find it best at Ingles. Food Lion also has. Yeah. I need a fork. Just grab a fork from right here. All right. Once I have all the items for my base, that was paprika, and we use sweet paprika and not the smoked. Smoked is spicy because they've put the seeds in there. And it actually can affect the stomach just like any spicy foods, okay?
So it would say sweet on it.
It doesn't say sweet paprika, it's just regular paprika. So I put that on there. I usually like to put it in a Ziploc. And I go ahead and let that marinate for 20 minutes or so. When you're putting this on your cookie sheet, and I use a lined cookie sheet with some parchment paper, thank you. And I make sure that none of the liquid gets on there because it burns really easy. You cook this, you roast it on like 400. So that's the reason. I don't remember how long I roast it now, but I did put that on your list there too, on your recipe there as well. All right.
Have you ever tried putting that in the roasting pans and putting it for your grill?
Oh, that sounds yummy. Yeah. No, I haven't, but that sounds good. So what I would do is roast this for a time, just 5 minutes before it's done. Then I'll put the pecans on there. Because if I tried it the first time and I burnt all the pecans. It was not good. So just throw them on at the end because you just want them to be lightly roasted. You can even put them on the last minute if you don't like your nuts roasted. Okay, and we ended up with that over here too, and I will show you how it looks.
Oh, okay.
See?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Can you bring out the sweet potatoes, dear? All right, and the last one, I will only demonstrate like a small amount, and the reason being is I didn't make enough milk. And I have shared with you my milk recipe. Our milk of choice is cashew milk. We all like it. Always remember